Hi guys, I'm back. If you caught my last video, I talked about a challenge that I was pretty much just giving myself to use up things I have around here before I head into the holidays, try to cut down on some of the supplies and stuff that I have, and to make a journal completely start to finish with what I've got here. My only guidelines for myself was that I could dye coffee or tea dye more paper that I already had here, or I was going to try not to print off any new digital ephemera or anything like that, but definitely not to buy anything else that I might need for this journal. So I kind of thought that I would just work from start to finish on this and record a little bit as I go along, and I wasn't really sure where to start, but I thought, some of you might be new to making junk journals and you might want to see from the very beginning, and so I thought that I would go ahead and include that because it might be helpful to some of you, and some of you may already know how to, prepare your cover and everything, so this might not apply to you, and that's okay. Or you might get some new ideas. So for this journal, I'm going to take a book that I already have and I'm going to alter it. And then you may have seen in my last video, I'm going to use this fabric to cover it. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I'll do it in the one after this probably, and post it as a separate video. But I thought today I'd just kind of show you how I get ready, get the book ready to be covered. And I know I am an avid reader and I also write, and so books are very important to me, and I always make sure that if I'm going to tear into a book, it's not one that's, in print right now. It's these are Reader's Digest books that I usually go with for this type of thing, because I like the size. They are usually available at my thrift store, and I have been told by the people there that they most often end up in the dumpster because they sit on the shelf for so long, and nobody buys these anymore because they just don't interest people anymore. And to me, I would rather save something from the landfill and make it into something else, and if that means taking apart a book, then that's what I'll do. So I try to choose books for that. And so that's kind of what I've done here. And I'll show you a couple different things. This one, I want to grab a couple books. This one that I have here, it's probably going to be one of the ones you can tell it is split right here already. And that can be fine if you just want to use the front and the back and make a completely new spine. And that's totally doable. But for this project, I don't want to have to entirely make a new spine. If I was going to use this front and back cover, this would probably be one that I would consider if I wanted a big chunky one or a narrower one, and I could completely redo this and it wouldn't matter how wide this one was. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, it's already split. I probably don't want to use that one for this project. But this one, it's basically the same size, maybe just a little bit narrower, which is actually perfect for the project that I have in mind. The spine is in good condition. We're going to do some reinforcing on it, but for the most part, it's in pretty good shape. And so I think that we can work with this. So what I would typically do, best thing is an X-Acto knife. You might need some scissors, but usually this is your best tool for this. And I stand it up. Hopefully I can get a good angle on here. And you can tell where the paper from the end paper and the actual book pages meet. And it's easier to see if you stand it up. And I'm going to just very carefully take this and slice along this edge all the way down. And my blade is a little bit dull. I should have changed this out, but I didn't have any spare ones here. But you can kind of follow along using this as your guide. I don't know if you can see, but I've kind of got the flat edge of the knife laid up against the edge of the book, of this part of the book. And I'm just kind of using that to follow along. Now, if you accidentally slice into this part, just, a little bit, you can probably repair it. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit. But, okay, so that came apart really nice. You can see that that's nice and a nice clean cut there. And we're going to reinforce this, and I'll show you that part in the next video. This is just going to be a really quick video, just kind of a tip type thing. And same thing for this side. Sometimes you gotta make a couple passes. Okay. And that's it. So this has all came away in one piece. I don't get rid of this. I use this for book page, I glue them together, make tags out of them. There's lots of videos out there on what to do with all your book pages. And so I try to use some of those up. These actually have photos in them, so I'm going to go back through this book and just kind of see what all is in here. There might be some things that I might want to use. It may just be the sort of thing where I just use, just the book pages on this one. But this will get set aside, and this is what will actually be the start of my journal. So sometimes what I do is I will go through here and kind of clean up a little bit. If there's bigger pieces here that need to be trimmed away, I will just kind of clean that up a little, just so things, when I start to gluing things down, it lays a little bit better. Now you'll notice that this spine, it's very thin, and we're going to end up making a hidden binding with this journal, so that and what that is, for those of you that don't know, the signatures will get sewn into a strip that will be then glued onto the inside, and on the outside you won't see any of the sewing for the signatures. So this is kind of more flimsy than I like for it to be, so I usually reinforce that, and that will be part of the next video when I actually go to cover this. And so we will talk about reinforcing the spine and then covering the outside all in the next video. But that's where I start. I start with these books that would typically end up in a landfill somewhere. And, you know, it's that there are a lot of people who don't like to cut into a book, but I can feel good about, you know, making it into something else, and hopefully someone will appreciate it. It's not a book that's carrying any monetary value as far as a collector's item or anything like that, so you want to make sure that you definitely check those things out. But I just happen to know that a lot of the Reader's Digest books just end up in the trash, and so, you know, that's why I don't really feel too bad about cutting into them. So next time we'll talk about reinforcing and covering the spine, and we'll actually get our fabric out and start that process. So until next time, see you then. Bye.